Okay, so if you're cool, we're going to kind of jump right on in because I got a lot of questions for you, Kate. So, hi,
Okay.
everybody. If you
Hi.
don't know this amazing human being next to me, I'm going to let Kate introduce herself because she's fabulous and you need to know her.
Oh, why, thank you. Well, I think that you're fabulous as well. So, hey, everybody. I am Kate Doster of katedoster.com, and it is my soul and soul's mission to put money in the hands of good people so they can do good with it and to eradicate this idea that nice people finish last in 2022. Because the truth is, people love to spend money. Like, I guarantee that if I asked you, hey, have you bought anything on Amazon in the last 2 weeks? Your answer is yes. So why would you want people to buy from you? Somebody who actually cares about their audience, who is going to go above and beyond for them, who's not just going to treat them like some throwaway dollar sign. So that is what I do. We help primarily with sales, mindset, and psychology, and email marketing.
I knew I was going to put in something about sales pages, so we're going to keep it pretty short because we're getting to the end here. What is if you could boil it down, what is the number one thing that you should have on a sales page?
I was going to say buttons to your checkout.
Oh, actually,
no,
just point. Like, do you have one button or like a bunch of buttons? Whatever.
A bunch of buttons. A bunch of buttons. Well, we just have inside of Love Your List, we now have a Gress training vault. It used to just be available for the first couple months, but now it's going to be available all of the time, so you have lifetime access to it. And she was asked because she designs sales pages, and she's like, the number one thing that I see is people don't put their buttons enough, because you have to remember people are immobile. And even though they might somewhat be interested, they're not interested enough to scroll back up. That's what she said, or scroll back down. So, okay. Besides that, and again, taking off things like, testimonials or like your pricing or all of that sort of stuff, like bonuses. I think the biggest thing, especially to stand out, and this is like regardless of any industry, is by getting like really specific. And as we were alluding to a little bit earlier, moments. I think that the hardest part of a sales page for most people to write is the top, which is why the way that I approach sales pages, because spoiler alert, in the course, I'm going to teach you how to write 2 different versions of a sales page, because what good is having great emails if you're sending them to a crap sales page? So like, I literally am like full spectrum here. We also talk about what makes a great offer, because again, I can't have any piece of the chain be the weakest link. So for your sales page, start with the things that are easiest for you. So like, what's actually in there? One of my favorite sections that everyone skips over is frequently asked questions. Remember how we were talking about people just skim to the bottom, right? Some people just skim to the frequently asked questions. So you're going to have it there. So I think on that sales page, the top half is going to be most important, but I would write it towards the end, because I think everyone is trying to come up with like, oh, that really catchy or clever headline or any of this sort of stuff. They put so much weight on it. The only job of that headline or that subhead is to get them to read the next line. That's it. And you do that by getting them going, oh, how did she know? Like, that's the big thing. And that's really what moments are. Like I said, we're going to talk more about it in the training. And so I know that's why we're wrapping it up towards the end here. But like, even the headline on, I've got Trial Magic. It's like a little productivity course that I have. It has nothing to do with anything else, but it's there. And the first one is like, if your socks don't match and you've got 18 tabs open right now, keep scrolling, like roll on down. And that is so much more of like a, that's me, as opposed to, are you feeling overwhelmed in your business and missing deadlines? That could be on anyone's sales page. But now if anybody else reads, do you have all these tabs open and your socks don't match? They're going to be like, Kate, I think someone's copying your sales page, because I nailed them. I know what my person's life looks like. And sometimes you do have to have that, are you overwhelmed business line? So that way when you go back in, you can, as we call it in the course in Love Your List, and I don't know if we're going to talk about it too much in the live workshop, but we call it editing in the awesome. So I do this for myself too. It's like, are you overwhelmed because like your email list isn't replying back? So instead it's like, okay, how can I make this a moment? How can I send this? Are you tired of spending hours painstakingly picking out every word in the email only to hear crickets after you send it because nobody cares enough to reply back? And you're trying so hard. So it's like, oh, I get that. Or again, because I'm business to business, for me, it's not like, make money in your sleep. Everybody says that, so no one's going to pay attention to that. For my people, it's like able to slap down your debit cards at Whole Foods and buy raspberries anytime you want. And that's what my person wants. My person might not necessarily want a Gucci bag or a G-Wagon or any of that sort of stuff. They want to be able to buy the food that they want to buy. Like, they're simple people. Yeah, there might be one thing that's like, ooh, I want the expensive sweatpants instead of the $2 sweatpants, right? But like, that's my person. So my moment is going to look a lot different than somebody else's. And that's how they're all like, I know that she's my person. So I would definitely make sure on your sales pages that you're really trying to be like, how can I say this more concretely? How can I get this more specific? But again, you've got to have that chunk of marble first in order to shape it into something good.
Yeah, you really do. I mean, like, this sounds terrible. Like, you can, Mythbusters did this like forever ago. And it was, the adage, you can't polish a turd. At the end of the day,
I love them.
You can polish a turd, but at the end of the day, it is still a turd. If you have an amazing product, you have an amazing relationship with your list, you know your people, making a sales page comes back to just putting it into words and not using that. I hate the word overwhelmed on a sales page because I'm like, overwhelmed by what? I have a dog that is incontinent now. I've got 3 cats who hate each other. My kids are a mess. My house is a mess. And I've burned dinner for the 80th time this week. Pick one area of overwhelm for me, please.
I was going to say, and they're going to make you bake because I know how much you hate baking.
And they're going to make me bake. Who else's birthday is next week? Like, I hate it. But
right,
the overwhelm, it has to be specific. It has to be specific. Like, the more about in your person's head, the better.
We talk about it in the course. We call it the little blue pill test. So I don't know if you guys know that that's the color of Viagra, that we call it adult snuggle medicine in the course, because I do have children too. And most of my people do. So it's like, if somebody could honestly think their headline was for adult snuggle medication, because think about it. Are they overwhelmed? Are they tired because they're not getting what they want? Like, so when you start thinking to yourself, does somebody have confused this with adult snuggle medication? Then all of a sudden you can get more specific. So don't just rely on adult snuggle medication words. You got to make sure it's for you. And again, the examples that you pick, the more that you know your people, the more that you kind of zero in on them. I was like, oh, how do you know your people? Like, well, I talk to them. And 2, I have to say that's one of the things, like, I think that I would have loved to like written movies because I'm just fascinated by people and people's behavior. But like, you'll get there, but you've got to try. And I think that people think that writing copy is like they're painting a picture, so they want every brush stroke to be perfect or you're going to ruin the canvas. No. You need to go out and have a chunk of marble. You need a chunk of granite. And that's like your first draft. Then you are going to go in and you're not polishing a turd, but you're chainsawing and getting it down. Like the statue of David was a giant chunk of marble that he kept on refining, and it made it better. And that's what I want you to think of your copy as.
That's perfect. Like, beyond words, perfect. Your copy is that marble that it is going to be the statue of David.
Yeah.
You just got to get it there, guys. It does take work, but it's worth it, the effort. Thank you so much for coming today and bestowing your knowledge on us. And so people can find you at, what is your website?
You go to katedoster.com, and I do have a podcast. We're going on a bit of a summer/spring break, but it is every other week. It's called Inbox Besties, and you can go there as well. If you're like, I'm not really in the mood for a webinar, I'll make sure that Caroline drops the link. I do have a freebie that's 2 years worth of strategic email ideas. So I literally, like, January, week 1, send this. Week 2, send this. If you're a rule breaker, you can like switch them up, or you can like go look at May. I let them know if it's like, oh, it's mint julep day in May, so like you have to send this in May. So, and if you're like, but Kate, like, what about, January, February? They come back. So it's fine. If you're watching this and it's like July, it's cool. The rest of the months come back. Just recycle it. You're good.
Oh yeah. It's fantastic, guys. If you're one of those people who's like, it is Friday at 3 p.m. I have a half an hour before I can pick up the kids. I have no idea what to send. That's an awesome freebie for it. Kate, thank you so much for joining us. And guys, we will see you hopefully at the webinar. You guys should all sign up. It's going to be fantastic. Bye.
Bye, everybody.